say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard.
Yeah.
Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down the clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford edges out a decision victory, but warns that danger lurks if Crawford takes too many risks. He recalls Gervonta Davis's warning that engaging Canelo recklessly could spell trouble. With Canelo's natural size and power advantage, Stephen A. insists Crawford must depend on defense, speed, and ring IQ rather than trading blows. Both analysts agree. Strategy, not brute strength, will determine the winner.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Max Kellerman on Sarawai. The other hand points out that Terence Crawford's skill set looks sharper overall, giving him a technical edge. He highlights Canelo Alvarez's granite chin and naturally bigger frame, with a broad skeleton that gives him strength in close exchanges. However, Kellerman notes that Canelo hasn't looked as sharp in recent outings, showing signs of a slight decline. This sets up a fascinating contrast. Crawford's precision and timing against Canelo's durability and size, making the matchup one of resilience versus finesse.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, former champion and respected analyst, has thrown his support behind Terence Crawford while also acknowledging the mountain he must climb. Tarver says Crawford has proven himself in multiple weight classes, cementing his greatness. But this fight, he warns, is a different beast entirely. Tarver stresses it will not only be Crawford's toughest test, but also a challenge unlike anything Canelo Alvarez has faced before.
Harvest Take, I'm Bud County all the way. But this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Two greats stepping into truly uncharted territory. Timothy Bradley Jr., renowned for his sharp boxing IQ, predicts the opening round between Canelo and Crawford will be cautious. He expects both fighters to avoid unnecessary risks early on, instead studying each other's timing, rhythm, and distance. Bradley notes that Crawford is patient in big fights, often spending the early minutes setting traps. Canelo, too, tends to feel out his opponent before making adjustments. Bradley concludes the first round won't be fireworks, but rather a chess match where every move carries weight.
Versa, Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offers a unique angle. He emphasizes that Crawford has already proven himself an all-time great, especially at welterweight. But he reminds fans that weight divisions exist for a reason. Moving up against naturally bigger fighters brings heavy risks. Khan argues Crawford didn't need to take on Canelo to cement his legacy, but admits the ambition is admirable. To him, this is Crawford's bold attempt to silence doubters. Yet Khan is clear. Taking on a powerhouse like Canelo is a gamble that could either immortalize Crawford or threaten his career.
And we did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful. Yeah. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound the best fighter is Crawford by far, and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to put adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. Yeah. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might be stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. Yeah. That he might do really well in there. So look, regardless,
you fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you could see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Loeffler views the bout through the lens of spectacle and business. He explains that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the sport's biggest global stars, each commanding massive fan bases across nations and cultures. Loeffler believes few modern fights can match this one's magnitude. To him, it's not just a showdown of skills, but a clash of empires. Canelo as the long-reigning face of boxing, and Crawford as the pound-for-pound king rising to challenge him. Legacy, weight, and star power make this one truly rare.
High-profile show. It's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real, you know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell shines a light on Crawford's unique style, particularly his ability to switch stances and control range with masterful footwork. Coldwell argues that Crawford's mobility is his secret weapon, letting him create angles, frustrate opponents, and dictate tempo. Against a pressure fighter like Canelo, those tools become critical. If Crawford can stay mobile, avoid being cornered, and keep the fight in the center of the ring, Coldwell believes he has the skill set to outmaneuver Canelo and stack up points.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch. He's very good as a southpaw. His judgment at distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. He loads up, and he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been out before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance